There is a chill in the air. Winter has arrived. It might be getting cold and windy outside, but that's no reason to hibernate until spring. There is a renaissance taking place in the sport of ice fishing that is totally revolutionizing the way people think about ice fishing. It's all new, it's all fun, and it's inspiring many to get out and enjoy winter. In the next 30 minutes, you'll have access to some of the best fishing minds in the ice fishing world who have totally redefined this popular sport. Join Tom Zenanko, author, lecturer, and tournament champion as he shows you the modern ice fishing revolution on Vexilar's Ice Fishing Today. Ice Fishing Today is a unique program linked to the World Wide Web, allowing you to learn even more ice fishing secrets that will double your fishing success. Don't go away. An exciting edition of Ice Fishing Today is coming your way.
Welcome back. Today's adventure takes us to central Iowa to fish a farm pond. Now, I want to make sure everyone understands what a true farm pond is. Just because there's a pond on a farm doesn't make it a farm pond. You see, in Minnesota, if you talk about the ponds in Minnesota, they really have to be aerated to keep the fish alive all winter. So the ecosystem in Minnesota is pretty flat and is too cold unless you aerate. And aeration is not very practical in this environment, in a farming environment, because most of these ponds are in remote areas. The farther south you go than Iowa, the ground flattens out and becomes, well, you might have a quarry that's dug out that's a fishing hole, but it's really not a true farm pond. You see, a true farm pond is created by the damming of creeks and the ecosystem that as you can see behind us here, all this ecosystem floods into this particular valley, and it's created by a special stock dam that they've built. And this ecosystem, with the type of land and the drainage and the way it's prepared, makes this a true self-sustaining farm pond. Really, they built it, put in some fish, and voila, the fishery goes on with almost no maintenance if you take care of it properly. In today's program, we had a chance to talk with a DNR official to give us a little bit more insight about what makes the farm pond ecosystem so very special.
Well, I think in Iowa in general, our waters are pretty nutrient rich, and that means that you can grow a lot of fish in a small area. Our carrying capacity tends to be a little bit higher than what you would see further to the north. Our ponds and lakes could probably carry anywhere up to 500 to 700 pounds per acre, depending on the water body, and the watershed has a lot to do with that. As you might expect, agriculture is a big thing around here. Just like our soils are nutrient rich, our waters are too, and we can grow things. At the bottom of the food chain, you have the algae, the planktonic algae and plants. And that goes all the way up the different trophic levels and supports the fish populations. Bluegill, largemouth bass, channel catfish, and sometimes crappie are kind of the basic fish species that you see in farm ponds. And because of these nutrient-rich waters, you tend to see fish grow fast and grow to large sizes.
No matter how old or how young, experienced or inexperienced, come out to farm ponds in Iowa and you can catch fish like this. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more ice fishing today after this.
Dave Gens here with the amazing FLX28, a winter fishing sonar system that is changing the way we all ice fish. With digital depth, auto ranging, and 5 color display options, all packed into one amazing unit, the FLX28. Be sure to check out the entire family of Vexilar, the most reliable sonar system technology on the ice today. Vexilar sets the standards for quality, reliability, and performance. I won't go fishing without my Vexilar. To learn more, go to Vexilar.com.
To truly see the future, it's good to know the past. Which is why Clam Outdoors brings industry-leading engineering into every ice shelter that we create to outperform, outsize, and outclass the competition in every design and in every detail. Because it's not enough to just have been the first ones there. We also want to be the last ones standing. Clam Outdoors. Bring it.
One of the things people think about is how do we get access to the farm ponds and to fishing like we have here. It's actually very easy. Stop by any of the small towns, go to a convenience store, the local restaurant, cafe, bar, and start telling them that you want to go ice fishing. They usually have a whole group of people that they know and farmers that they know to get onto the farm ponds. Go to their place. It's like the old pheasant days. Just a handshake and a bit of courtesy will get you on the farm ponds, as well as they'll usually tell you on the pond where to fish, which cuts down your time in locating the fish there. It's actually very easy, and with 90,000 of them in Iowa, there's plenty of choices to do.
This pond was built in the late 1970s. It was held by the government, and there's been a lot of big fish caught in this pond, and probably the biggest bass was 27 inches, and we caught it roughly right where we're standing. And we never weighed it, but we did turn it back, so it's probably still in here for another day. Biggest crappie we caught was about 17 inches, and that's a pretty big crappie no matter where you're at. Bluegill, unofficial guy caught, was 13 inches, and which is longer than the state record. And catfish, we caught a 40-pound flathead catfish that was 3/4 of the size of me, so it was quite the fight. And back here we have way out there is my house on the left, and then there's a dock on the right where the pickups are parked, and the creek runs straight down the pond and it drains over there, and then there's another creek that runs over here and drains this way out into here. And we have this all on the set aside so we don't have any runoff from, it doesn't silt in, and it's been 20 feet deep since the 1970s. It's never really filled in because it's always been grass to hold a good structure and not let any chemicals in here.
Come on there, fella. There we go. Ooh, holy moly. This is a big boy. You want to grab my transducer, Bert?
Here, I'll get your transducer. It's a good one? Got a good crappie?
I would guess. He almost pulled the pole away from me. I can't move him too well. Got awful light line. I don't want to force him.
Yep. What kind of depth did you have?
I think it was 9 feet, but we can check that.
9 feet, and they were suspended down there?
Yeah, he was up quite a ways.
Good. What are you using for a lure today?
I'd almost believe he's a bass.
A bass? You would be the ice bass assassin, right?
Of course. You know, if it's me, it's not bass. It's a big crappie.
It's a big crappie.
Gotta be a big crappie.
Monster crappie.
Come on.
World record farm pond crappie coming through.
Coming up. Don't be a bass. Don't be a bass.
As you would say in Canada, this fish has shoulders on him. I mean, look at him.
Sounds like an
take and drag. Oh, look at this. Watch this bass come through here, folks. There we go.
Why couldn't that have been a crappie?
Look at that.
You guys called it.
Farm pond fishing, hauling bass through the ice. You just never know what you're going to get here. They get better and better, folks, and you want to have a fight through the ice. A bass is unbelievable coming through the ice.
Oh, it's a dink.
And why did you have the camera run right over here to get that little itty bitty bluegill?
Because I wasn't sure how big it was. I just wanted some camera time, actually.
Media whore. Yes, media whore. That's a good one. He's a good one.
Can't get him to come up out of the hole.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Easy, Terry.
Look at that crappie.
That's what we're looking for.
Get him out of there.
Farm pond monsters. That's a nice.
Don't give away my secret bait, Tom.
There you go, Terry. I want you to hold that up for all the world to see.
Don't give away my secret bait, you know, a tube. Crappie tube.
Woohoo!
Ooh. You don't get any better, Tom.
Now you were born and raised in Iowa, Terry, so you fish these farm ponds all the time, don't you?
You bet. But when I was a young man, we had a farm pond, and basically we'd always catch smaller crappies. We always thought they were really good. Then one year we had a freeze out, and I was walking along the shoreline, and I looked and I thought, who put carp in this farm pond? Turned out they were crappies, about 3-pounders, and we had never found them. But looks like we found them in this pond.
We got another fish going over here?
Right here. I think he's
Where?
got one on.
Easy. Oh, easy, easy, easy. Folks, we're moving from hole to hole here on this little farm pond, and these big crappies are coming up. Oh, that's a dandy. Where do you hook that? Oh, look, that's sumo size. Now that's a nice speck. That's a good 13-incher for sure. Middle of the day. What's the technique here for catching these farm pond fish? What would you say?
I would say just if they're not biting, you gotta go above them. If they're not coming up, go below them, bring it right back above them. They'll just come screaming up for it. Just screaming up for it.
Boy, that's a good one. That is an absolutely gorgeous fish. That's average size for here?
Yeah, that's probably average. You
Wow.
can probably catch 30, 40 of these here in a day if you find them.
Wow. That's what it's all about, folks. Now, for everyone listening here, I just want to kind of give you an idea of what we're fishing. It's not the largest of farm ponds that you can imagine. It's
6 acres.
You can see how they say it's 6 acres. And it looks like its deepest point, it's been about 20 foot so far. And these little farm ponds are really, can be some unbelievable fishing action. And today, the crappies are biting. Oh yeah.
Nice. Nice and sunny. I'd drive all the way up to Orr, Minnesota to get one like that. Beautiful fish. Healthy. Can't get any better than that.
Stick around, more ice fishing today coming up.
Still ice fishing with the old heavy gas augers. Tired of having to wash your hands because they smell like gasoline, or sweating too much while you're cranking on the old hand auger? Check out this revolutionary product. It's called the K-Drill, and it's lightweight. It's only 9 pounds, and it's specifically designed for your cordless, brushless drill. It's got a heavy-duty aluminum shaft and a tool steel design blade that's going to change the way you ice fish. Hole hop around or reopen some old holes. Check out icefishingtoday.com.
For all you Vexilar fans out there, you can now consistently see your depth digitally with Vexilar's digital depth indicator. The device is easy to install and constantly shows you exactly how deep you are. And with the push of a button, you can see your battery status as well. This device will fit on any Vexilar unit, no matter how old it is. If you want to learn more, check us out online at Vexilar.com.
Let's talk a little farm pond tactics. Fishing farm ponds is really no different than fishing any other natural lake. The fish are just as smart, just as wily. They can grow pretty doggone big, and that's one of the things we have to take into account. A lot of people think just because you're catching 1-pound bluegills means I have to gear up with bigger tackle. Wrong. When you're fishing for bluegill, as with any other situation when you're fishing for bluegill, you want to match the right hook size. Now, a lot of people like to use one size for sunfish and crappies, and that's really the wrong way to look at it. A crappie hook is like a number 6 or a number 4 hook. Large gap is excellent for a fish that inhales the bait. Sunfish do not inhale baits, they chew baits. So you're looking for a 6 or 10 or even 12 size hook. I've been in situations where 1-pound crappies have been so finicky, a 14 size hook is required because the fish do not want to aggressively eat the bait. So hook size for sunfish here on a farm pond is very critical. So if you find yourself in any situation where you get a lot of bites, but you can't convert, bite, miss, what's going on? Your hook is too large. That's the fish telling you the hook is too large. Downsize your hook and your success will skyrocket. On the other hand, when we're talking about crappies now, crappies inhale the bait. And when they inhale the bait, they've got a very large mouth, so a tiny, tiny hook would be very difficult to find a secure place in his jaw. So with crappies, you can get away with using a much larger size hook, like you see here. Now, a tube jig is what we've been catching a lot of the fish on. The same jig that you'd use in the summertime is very effective in the winter for big, big crappies. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, little 12 or little 8-inch crappies you might catch in your little pond at home. We're talking about farm pond fish where we know we're going to be looking after 2-pounders. So here we have kind of a different situation going on, because in the same hole you could be catching a 1-pound bluegill or a 2-pound crappie. So some of the guys are just focusing on the crappies and staying with the larger baits. I've been using a bait called the chubby darter. It's a great bait because it calls in fish. You jig it aggressively and it brings in the crappies and they attack it, because they're big aggressive strikers. A sunfish, on the other hand, comes up and kind of sips the bait in. So you really want to gear up your tackle for the right kind of application. Anytime you're fishing sunfish, you want to stay with light line, 2 and 3 pound test. For crappies, you can go as high as 6 if you want, but you really want to make sure that you don't use the 6-pound test when you're fishing for bluegills with a tiny hook, because it's just too large of a line for such a small hook. Light line, small hook is the key to success anywhere you go. And here in farm pond country, the rules still apply.
I love fishing Iowa farm ponds. Catch fish like this. It really is good to let a few of them go like that, so I can have some for next year. Put a little bend in my pole.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Whoop. Oh, and I blew a double. Darn it. Woo-hoo. There we go. I'm gonna have to pull that darn orange jig away from you. Look at the health of these fish, folks. They are absolutely the best fish that you could ask for. We're here fishing just bluegills in this area. There won't be crappies here, but all just nice bluegills, day in and day out. So we're out here today farm pond fishing. You brought your son out. Why'd you bring him out today?
He likes to do things outdoors, and my mom is friends with Wayne. We've been out here a few times, and he's always talked about ice fishing. So we came out to try it.
And so this is his first time, correct?
This is his first time, and he's doing amazing.
Okay. And how many fish did he catch today, do you think?
About like 40.
I've lost count.
You've lost count?
I've lost count.
Yeah, and
well over 10, I'd say.
More than like 20.
Well, I saw 10.
So obviously we know he caught a bunch of fish and had a great day,
yes,
correct?
He sure did. He made some new friends. He's happy. I'm happy that he's happy.
Oh my gosh, he's got one. I'm losing $1 right now. Gosh, I got a whole bunch coming in too. I hope yours falls off, because I don't want to be a buck behind. You got it out?
You're gonna be a buck behind here in a minute.
Not another $1 behind. Mom's gonna kill me. I don't know if I can afford it.
Whoa.
Whoa! Look at the size of that. Look at that. You know, we came out here and the farmer said, hey, look for a bunch of holes. There's a tree underneath. Have you noticed anything different on your Vexilar than other places we've been, other farm ponds we've been?
Yeah, there's this thing floating right about 5 feet in the water, so that might be where the tree's at.
That 5 feet in the water, that permanent one there, is exactly what that is. It's the tree that he told us to come to here. And when we put our sonar back down in, you'll see it comes right up. And yep, see that line that's permanent there? Right. Absolutely, there it is. That's the tree that we're fishing over. And now since I lost $1 to you, how about we go double or nothing, and I'll see if I can hack one quick.
Central Iowa is literally dotted with these farm ponds that were created for a lot of different reasons, for agriculture, for the food, the feedstock, and of course, they offered a great resource for the local fishermen to take advantage of. Iowa doesn't have any lakes, but it does have these farm ponds.
Look at Jaden. Jaden's got one biting. There it is. Okay, set the hook, bud. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at the crappies that we're pulling out here. Wow. Pull that up. Whew. Amazing. That is farm pond fishing at its best, folks.
I have no idea, but it's heavy, so hopefully it's huge.
No matter how old or how young, experienced or inexperienced, come out to farm ponds in Iowa and you can catch fish like this. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more ice fishing today after this.
Dave Gens here with the amazing FLX28, a winter fishing sonar system that is changing the way we all ice fish. With digital depth, auto ranging, and 5 color display options, all packed into one amazing unit, the FLX28. Be sure to check out the entire family of Vexilar, the most reliable sonar system technology on the ice today. Vexilar sets the standards for quality, reliability, and performance. I won't go fishing without my Vexilar. To learn more, go to Vexilar.com.
To truly see the future, it's good to know the past. Which is why Clam Outdoors brings industry-leading engineering into every ice shelter that we create to outperform, outsize, and outclass the competition in every design and in every detail. Because it's not enough to just have been the first ones there. We also want to be the last ones standing. Clam Outdoors. Bring it.
Are you the proud owner of a Vexilar Fish Scout camera? Have you always wanted to be able to record video or take still images to share with your friends later? Well, now you can with the Vexilar DVR 100. All you need is a simple micro SD card and to connect the cables to the camera and to the monitor. It comes with this handy key fob, allowing you with the simple push of a button to take still images and record video. To learn more, go to Vexilar.com.
Now look at that fish. Large targets like a chubby darter can really be the secret to attracting these fish, especially in these somewhat stained farm pond lakes. Look at that, I'm actually catching a fish and filming it at the same time. It's amazing what you can do here with ice fishing today. But here, get this fish off, Ryan. And I'm gonna...
You are a multitasker, Tom?
Yeah, we're filming it and catching them all at the same time. But the chubby darter is a great bait because it draws, has a great attraction power. And these are big fish looking for big targets. And that's what we're looking for. Look at that. Nice fish. That's a good pounder.
Absolutely nice fish.
Back to action. Thank you, sir.
Hey Tom, I'm working with this and can you help me? This is the first time I've used this FLX28 and I'm trying to get the static out of it, but I don't quite understand it. Can you help?
Sure, Brian. Sure, Brian. A lot of people who use flasher sonars for the first time are really kind of, well, confused by all the lights, especially the FLX20 has 5 lights, so you're going to see a lot of different colors. The whole secret here is understanding power output and your gain setting. Now, you're only fishing in 6 foot of water, right?
Yep.
In 6 foot of water, in theory, you should always be fishing in under what's called low power setting. Low power cuts the output of the system by 50% so that there is not too much ringing going on. And let me show you what's going on. What you're experiencing is the ring.
Okay.
Even under normal power, you're going to get this ringing up here in the surface. Because anytime the transducer is up in the hole, and let's just make it really bad for the viewers, so the viewers on TV can see how really bad it is. When I put it up in the hole, the transducer creates this what we call ice clutter.
Okay.
The transducer high in the hole creates ice clutter. Now, because you're so shallow, the ice clutter is a factor. If you're fishing in 40 foot of water, who cares? Because you're only fishing in the bottom, maybe 6 or 8, 10 foot of water, so you ignore all that noise up on top. But in this application, if we have our transducer a little bit farther, just down below the bottom of the ice, it helps eliminate a lot of the surface clutter noise. But one of the things you need to understand about the system is that when you switch to low power, you will have to turn up your gain because it basically cuts the output power. So the gain has to be turned up so you can hear the signal coming back.
So I can't see my jig on low power.
You can't see your jig on low power, so we have to keep turning up your gain until we do see your jig. And you may even have to, you may have to move your transducer around in the hole even, especially as we get towards the later season when the holes are crooked. Your son, by the way, drills crooked holes. You will see that you'll have to move the transducer around in the hole. So if I move to this side, I can make your jig almost disappear.
Right.
Because the area you're looking at is quite small.
Okay.
You're not looking at a giant area in 6 foot of water, 3 foot down, okay? You're looking at a very small area. So if your lure glides off to one side or the other, you're gonna lose it. Low power focuses the signal even more. So if you turn up your gain, you can compensate for it.
Okay.
But if you turn up your gain too much, you'll start to see a looping of interference from anyone around you. The standard rule of thumb is anything beyond the 10 o'clock position, or on the 28, it's a 4 o'clock position, you really open up the receiver for all kinds of interference to bleed in. And that's why when you're out fishing with a group of other anglers and you say, oh, I can't fish with brand X because the interference is everywhere, it's terrible. Well, what that is that tells you that either A, you've got a bad transducer and you have to turn up your gain to see your signal, to see your lure, or B, they've got a bad transducer and it's sending out signals in all directions. Because a transducer can fail in many different ways. And 200 kilohertz systems with a Vexilar system can run side by side without any problem at all. But if you've got defective transducers, if you've got a transducer that's dying or weak and you have to turn up your gain, anything beyond the 10 o'clock position or the 4 o'clock on the 28, you'll start to allow more signals to bleed in and cause a lot of interference. If you're fishing by yourself, you don't notice it that much. But if you're fishing with a group of anglers nearby, you'll start to say, where's all this interference coming from? The rule number 1, low gain. Rule number 2, only use low power when you need to because it's too cluttered or you're seeing too many signals down there. Everything looks all cluttery and you can't see it through the flashing lights. And so then when you go to low power, you must turn it up but use it as low as you possibly can.
This transducer, what's the life expectancy out of these, or what can people do that harm them? I'm sure with all of them out there that you see failures. What is the most thing people do to make their transducer fail?
Impact, shock. This is a piece of ceramic inside of an epoxy coating. It's vibrating all the time. If you fracture or create any kind of stress cracks at all in the internal crystal by just dropping it on the ice, dropping it on the floor in your garage, oh, it looks okay, there's no scratches on it. But internally, you could have cracked or shattered the crystal, which could cause the problem. So take care of your transducer, baby your transducer, clean the surface area every once in a while, be nice to your transducer, and it will serve you for many years. Theoretically, it should last almost forever. Because contrary to other brands of sonar, we match the output of our transmitters with what the crystal can output. So we balance that way so we don't abuse the crystal. And so the crystal should last for an easy 10 years. Well, that's it for this adventure of farm pond fishing from central Iowa. It really is amazing how big and how plentiful the panfish are in these farm ponds. And remember, there are over 90,000 of these farm ponds for you to explore and for you to find these big fish as well. You really want to make sure you check it out. And check out the extras section in icefishingtoday.com because that's where all the bonus footage of today's program is being kept. Because believe you me, in a 30-minute program, we caught a lot more fish today, so you want to check out that action. So for everyone here at Ice Fishing Today, we'll see you on the ice. And remember, your ice fishing adventures begin when you turn your Vexilar on.
Ice Fishing Today is brought to you by these fine sponsors. To learn more about today's show or discover more about the great sport of ice fishing, be sure to check out icefishingtoday.com.